here we are again. Maximum Impact would get a sequel, but it's not exactly Maximum Impact 2 over here. By the way, this intro's like 4 minutes long, so enjoy. I'm a bow out. Kind of a unique plot twist, huh? So in Japan, this game was known as Maximum Impact 2, but in America, somebody got the wise idea to say out loud, Now, didn't King of Fighters used to be a yearly event, unless the name was changed to King of Fighters 2006. Also, that long opening, possibly the longest of anything we're going to cover, was done by Polygon Pictures, a CG animation studio who would later be hired by Capcom to do just about every other fighting game opening of their future fighting games. Like Street Fighters, your Marvel vs. Capcoms, your Street Fighter, Cross Tekken. But I'm going into this game with little practice. It's like dental surgery. You just want to get in, get it over with, and just walk out. Alright. But luckily, there's a lot of characters to choose from to do that with, including secret characters, whom you can pretty much ignore because they don't have any story elements, and that's what you tune into these videos to get. So, I had to debate who to choose to get this run over with, and given recent events and recent character reveals in KOF 15, so everybody has a normal outfit, and they have another outfit. Some of them are kooky, and some of them have great references. Since there is a buttload of content here, including some of which I haven't unlocked, we're gonna go with this. I didn't get to pick Kisara Westfield for Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, so I'm picking her here. By day, she is pop idol sensation, but by night, she is the psychic soldier who fights for the sake of fighting. There's no in-between cutscenes until you start getting to the more meaningful matches, so this is just gonna be a scrim.
No hard feelings. Don't hold it against me. This guy, no pushover.
Thank you. So, typical stuff applies. Your shoulder buttons will take you back and forth. You do have target combos, or as the game calls them, DOA thrashing. Haunting. If you played Maximum Impact, there's not too much change from 2006. There is a parry system, and it kind of had to be done giving certain characters moves. But Athena, in the transition to 3D, she's losing a lot of her command normals. But she's making up for it with the DOA thrashing combos. Clark, please, I don't want any of this right now. If you don't mind. And once again, I am using English voiceovers. Japanese voiceovers were an option, because SNK heard the outcry. But that's not where we're at right now.
You think you can actually make me sweat?
Round one, fight!
Bowling band! Yeah! Hang on!
As for the game itself, it's a slight improvement just playing it. Feels a bit faster. That being said, KOF's transition to the third dimension is still an awkward phase. Not to say it isn't without merit, but it's just new people coming in to KOF through this game.
Winner! Round two!
Not exactly gonna get the KOF experience they were hoping for. Not the one that has been so treasured. Although wall bounce combos are a thing.
Final round, fight!
They're even more of a thing in this game, to the point that the game itself has to stop you from doing too much damage. And I actually need to watch my step. Because even on normal, the AI is incredibly confident. And even on normal, they will still wreck your day.
Winner!
Probably doesn't help that, well, as I'm sure you surmised, I didn't practice for this all that much.
Okay, we're playing for keeps here. Yaha! I'll show you what it's like to be a real man.
Round one, fight!
Ha! Whoa!
Needless to say, one of her longer... There you go, there's the parry. One of her longer target combos doesn't combo into each other.
Feel it? Hey-ya, hey-ya. Hey-ya.
Winner! Round two, fight!
They're not rolling out. Hey, you're not gonna fall for that, are you? Realistically, I gotta be careful because they have all the meter.
Round kick! Round kick!
Winner!
But sometimes you just gotta turn on the gas.
Winner!
I'm gonna bust you so bad. It's been a while.
Billy Kane, new character for the sequel. Good to see him. It's amazing how far Fang Arrow goes.
Winner.
I could snipe him from mid-range with that.
Fight.
Yep. And of course, the AI does not mind comboing. And getting out of trouble.
Oh. Winner.
But they're allergic to blocking, which is good for me.
Winner.
I can't contain my blood rage. Look out!
Oh yeah, this was technically Rock's KOF debut.
Prepare for my fury.
He was in the first Maximum Impact, but we didn't see much of him. Oh. Ah, air throws.
Winner. Round 2. Fight.
Technically the time where Rock could technically start appearing in King of Fighters. Mark of the Wolves either takes place in 2006 or 2008, depending on your headcanon.
Winner.
That being said, his English voice is a standout in that being infamously terrible and not fitting of the character. But aside from that, Rock will get a better KOF down the line.
It seems you have some mysterious powers.
Well, you do too. This planet is filled with unique people.
Huh? This planet? What are you talking about?
It's nothing, just talking to myself. Anyway, you didn't come here to chit-chat, did you?
Of course not. Here comes Athena!
I would really love to get into how batshit this game gets in the places it goes. We're fighting aliens right now,
I have reason to proceed as well.
with unique French accents.
Fight.
Sadly, most of this game's story elements either go unexplained or, spoilers, unsolved.
What happened, Adam?
I can mash that. I can mash that, I don't care. Like, Look how far away I was. And the Fang Arrow still clipped her legs and the full attack went through.
What happened? You're not good, Mike.
Go ahead and counter hit. Okay. Alright, now she's upset. So if they start getting antsy with their counter hits and all that, it can lead to a bad time. As I'm sure I've thoroughly demonstrated now.
So violent. So violent.
KO. Winner.
Are you alright?
Yeah, I guess. I know this is strange, but if you don't mind, I have a favor to ask.
You want a favor? Well, if there's anything I can do.
Whatever you do, don't lose in the finals.
Yes! Athena will win! This place is kinda creepy. This is the arena for the finals?
That's right. This is the final stage, and your battle is about to end here.
Oh my, are you...
Along with being your opponent, I'm also this little shindig sponsor. It's very nice to make your acquaintance.
Subtitles leave before the dialogue is done.
Leader of QCM.
So tell me, what is QCL?
The secret syndicate added rules.
So as far as I know, in Maximum Impact 1, you beat Mephistopheles, they kind of pack their bags,
I figure, I sense
get out of town,
something evil from you.
and in comes along this new subdivision called
You're
Hades.
not, are you?
Oh, can you feel it?
And they bring in an organization called QCL to run the next tournament.
Answer me! What are you?
Calm down.
Tell me, why are you holding this tournament?
Simply put, to gather the most powerful specimens, and let's leave it at that.
That's normally his answer, but
Regardless of your
the common theory is that he is part of an alien race that needs strong physical bodies to power their spaceship,
Physical fall.
If anything,
and I am sadly not making any of that up.
I belong to only one person.
Most of these plot elements are shady at best and not covered at worst. Because this game was obviously supposed to lead into a third game that never came to fruition.
Then come, weak bug from this tiny planet.
So we have Jivatma.
One. Fight.
He's kind of a pain in the ass, as demonstrated by his mighty Dalsim arms. Along with some other nasty supers that I will hopefully not see. Like that. If you don't get up off the ground, he has an OTG super that takes a huge chunk of health. Please roll. It is thankfully blockable, and it thankfully doesn't take your entire guard gauge to do. So consider him more charitable than Duke was. Unless he starts grabbing you full screen. Trying to save my meter.
Winner.
Nope, he'll just... This is the way he'll be. This is the way he'll be. He'll just poke you from a distance.
Winner. Continue.
No way! Super shock!
Super shock.
Round one.
The dialogue has its moments. I need to do stuff that's actually less risky. Because this guy loves to counter you. Loves it.
Winner. Round two. Fight.
Thankfully, you can still do... You can still do that super in the air, which is very nice. He can still combo into his grab super, which is super not nice. I appreciate the fact you can do that so low to the ground.
Winner. Final round. Fight.
I'll take that. Ow! And you can see how much that hurts. I got it. I don't mind doing that. You're not gonna approach me, that's what's gonna happen. That's how it has to be.
Why do you follow the path of evil? When you have such great power to use for good.
Both concepts, good and evil, were created by you, human beings.
Even so, people can follow the path of good with their own power and their own will. Even people like you.
One day you'll understand. One thing rules this world. It's something that exceeds the paltry concepts of good and evil. What rules is the absolute pure power.
He teleported. How could he?
Copycat.
Teleport! After all this, I couldn't find them. Aha! At last I found you! Which is stronger, your psychic power or my magical powers? Let's find out! Excuse me. Do I know you from somewhere? Well, how rude are you? You don't remember me?
Episode 22.
I'm Mignon, the genius witch who works for world peace. I'm Mignon here. Don't tell me that you don't remember.
I mean, we never fought.
Sounds familiar. I kinda remember someone like that. Ah! Even worse! I work for world peace, and you don't even remember me? I'll never forget you! Bring it on! You really have to excuse me. I have a meeting about my next concert. Sorry! You are trying to show off in front of me? So mortified! I guess I have to book my concert schedule too. Mignon's gotta stand out more than that chick. With the beauty and magical power of Mignon, people of the world will know true happiness.
And these characters are forgotten to time for a reason. As much as I enjoy playing as Mignon, I can see her getting under a lot of people's skin. Now kindly enjoy this cute little moment of Kay and Kula as your ending. But yeah, that's King of Fighters 2006. Falcon moved from lead artist to producer, and boy, this started becoming his baby in more ways than one. Quite the promotion for him, and he tosses in a few characters of his own. Let's call it... what's the best thing I can call this? His own personal bias. There's secret characters like Hanzo Hattori from Samurai Shodown, because he really likes Hanzo. There's characters like Theo from Metal Slug, because he really likes Metal Slug. And there's characters in this game like Nagase, because he really likes himself. I'm serious. Look at a picture of him, look at a picture of Nagase. Falcon just made himself into a woman and added himself into the King of Fighters. Also, there's this thing with Alba and Soiree, and it's not really worth getting into because this is the last Maximum Impact game. It doesn't get followed up on. There would be arcade revisions of this game, Maximum Impact Regulation A. That was Japanese in Japan only, so I sadly don't have a copy. And there was supposed to be a Regulation A2. But SNK would be putting out a new HD project called The King of Fighters 12 that we're not going to cover here. Because you needed to tell the me of 10 years ago, hey, hang on to your games, you might need them. Also, you gotta love the credits being so white that the cutscene covers them up. Quality stuff. But yeah, that's the end of Maximum Impact on this channel. These are curiosities. Absolute curiosities. An experiment for SNK to be dragged kicking and screaming into the third dimension with King of Fighters. They did some unique things about it. They pretty much took a fan artist named Falcon, gave him a bit more authority. Again, he's the producer of this project. No Noise Factory here. This is more SNK developed than the previous. And you can tell. Not too much difference between them. As I said before, this is a slight improvement, but only slight. This is by no means the peak of KOF in the 21st century. But that's it. We will be moving on to much, much better KOF games. And I will see you guys then.
Game